Before this story begins, I want to ask you something. Think about the home you grew up in, the sounds, the silences, the things nobody said out loud but everyone felt. Now ask yourself honestly, are you still carrying something from that home? Something you promised yourself you would never do? Something you swore would be different when it was your turn? This is a story about that promise, about how we keep it, and how, without knowing, we break it anyway. Stay with me. My name is Ethan, and I grew up in a house that was always too loud. Not with music, not with laughter, with fighting. My parents fought about everything. The bills, the dinner, the phone calls, the small forgettable things that were never really about the small forgettable things. My father was not a bad man. I want to say that first. He was a man under pressure who had no good way to put that pressure down, except to let it out as noise. Loud, filling, room-taking noise. My mother was a quiet woman. She absorbed everything. She went to the kitchen. She washed dishes that were already clean. She waited for the storm to pass. And me, I was 7 years old, lying in the bedroom I shared with my little sister Lily, listening to all of it. Lily put her hands over her ears. I never did. I thought if I listened hard enough I could understand it. If I understood it I could fix it. 7-year-olds believe that. They believe everything is fixable. The promise came on a cold November night. Lily was asleep beside me. My parents were fighting in the next room, louder than usual. I lay in the dark and looked at the ceiling, and something settled in my chest, quiet and heavy and real. I will never do this. When I have my own home, it will not sound like this. I will never make someone feel the way my mother looks when she hears his footsteps coming up the stairs. I was 7 years old. I made that promise, and I carried it for the next 30 years. That promise shaped everything about me. In school, I became the quiet boy, not because I was shy, but because I had learned very early that loud was dangerous. That noise hurt people. That quiet was always safer. My teachers said Ethan needs to speak up more. I did not speak up more. In university, I had a girlfriend. Warm, funny, easy to be with. She said one day, Ethan, you keep everything inside. I never know what you are thinking. You are like a closed room and I cannot find the door. I did not know how to open the door. We ended quietly. No fight. No drama. Just two people slowly realizing they could not reach each other through the wall I had built so carefully. I thought, this is better. No fighting. No noise. This is exactly what I promised. I did not understand yet what I had done. I met Emily when I was 28. She laughed easily. That was the first thing I noticed. A real laugh. The kind that arrives before she does, that you can hear coming around the corner before you see her face. We grew close slowly. Coffees, walks, long conversations that did not feel long. The comfortable kind of closeness that feels natural, like it was always going to happen. One evening she said, you are one of the most careful people I have ever met. I did not know if this was a compliment. She said, I mean it kindly, but I wonder sometimes, What does all that carefulness cost you? I did not answer, but I thought about it for days. We got married when I was 31. Small wedding. Warm. Full of people we actually liked. My mother cried happy tears. My father shook my hand. 3 words. Take care of her. 3 words. But from this man of very few gentle words, 3 words was everything. Emily and I moved into our flat. We chose everything together. The furniture, the curtains, even the paint. This felt important to me. Choosing. Together. The first year was good. Really good. But something else was also happening. Something I could not see yet. I was so careful not to be my father, so careful not to raise my voice, not to fill rooms with noise, not to make Emily close windows against me the way my mother did. That without knowing it, I disappeared. I swallowed my frustration instead of saying it. I hid my hurt instead of sharing it. I told myself I did not need things, so I never asked for anything. I was quiet, calm, controlled. And Emily, warm, open, laughing Emily, began to feel completely alone. She told me in our 3rd year, ordinary evening, after dinner, she put down her cup and looked at me. She said, "Ethan, I feel alone in this marriage. Not because you are never here. You are always here. But I do not know what is happening inside you. I do not know when you are sad. I do not know when something I do hurts you. You never tell me anything real. I am so tired of talking to a wall." I said, "I am sorry. I will try to be better." She looked at me for a long quiet moment. Then she said, "That is exactly what I mean. You apologize immediately. You agree immediately. But right now, right this moment, what are you actually feeling?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. I genuinely did not know how to answer. That night I lay awake for a long time. Emily asleep beside me. Flat quiet. I thought about my mother in the kitchen, washing clean dishes, staring at the wall. I thought about Lily with her hands over her ears. I thought about the promise. I will never make someone feel the way my mother looks when she hears his footsteps on the stairs. I had kept that promise. I had never shouted, never filled a room with noise, but I had done something else entirely, something I had not seen coming. I had made myself so quiet, so small, so controlled, that there was nobody left for Emily to be married to. My father had been too much. I had become too little. And somewhere between too much and too little was the actual human being I had never learned to be. I started therapy a few months later. Not a solution, just a process. Slow, uncomfortable. Sometimes I left the session feeling worse than when I arrived. But I went. My therapist asked me once, "When you were a child, what happened when you showed a strong feeling?" "Nothing good," I said. She nodded slowly. "So you learned," she said, "that feelings were dangerous, that showing them created problems, that the safest thing was to make yourself very small and very quiet and wait for everything to pass." "Yes," I said. "That protected you as a child," she said. "That was a real and intelligent response to a real and painful situation." She paused. But Ethan, you are not 7 years old anymore. Emily is not your father. Your home is not that house. What kept you safe then is hurting you now. Things did not change overnight. I did not walk out of that room a new person. But I walked home and Emily said, "How was it?" And instead of fine, I said hard. She looked at me. "Do you want to talk about it?" She said. "Not yet," I said. "But I want you to know it was hard. Small thing, but real. The first true thing I had said in a long time. Last year something happened with my father. We were sitting together one evening, just the two of us. He had his tea. I had mine. Out of nowhere he said, "I was not easy. When you and Lily were small, I was not easy to live with." I looked at him. He was looking at the window. "I had a lot of pressure," he said. "I know that is not an excuse. I know it hurt your mother. I know it hurt you both." He stopped. "I know," he said. "Just that." I said, "I know you were under a lot of pressure, Dad." He nodded. We drank our tea. We did not say more. But something passed between us in that room. Not forgiveness exactly. Not resolution. Not a clean movie ending. Just acknowledgement. He knew. I knew he knew. Sometimes that is all there is. Sometimes that is exactly enough. I am 38 years old now. Emily and I are still married. Not perfectly. There is no perfectly. I still close down sometimes. She still feels alone sometimes. But last week she said something that stung me. Small comment. She did not even know she had said it. Before, I would have swallowed it whole. Instead I said, "That hurt me a little." She stopped. She really looked at me. "I am sorry," she said. "Tell me what you heard." So I told her. She told me what she had meant. It was different from what I had heard. We sat with that for a moment. Then she made tea and I made toast and we talked about something else entirely. Ordinary. Nothing. Everything. The promise I made at 7 years old. I will never do this. I kept it and broke it at the same time. I did not make noise, but I made absence. And absence hurts just as much as noise. Maybe more, because noise at least says I am here. I am feeling something. I am a person with a real interior. Absence says nothing, and nothing over time becomes everything that is wrong. I do not have a perfect ending for you. My parents are older now. My father softer. My mother found her own quiet happiness. Emily and I are finding our way, one honest conversation at a time. I am still learning to open the room. 38 years old and still learning. It does not come naturally. Probably never will. But I am trying. Every single day I am trying. If you grew up in a loud house, if you learned to make yourself small to survive, if you are carrying a promise you made when you were too young to know what you were really promising, I see you. And I want to tell you this. The promise was not wrong. You were protecting yourself the only way you knew how. But maybe, just maybe, it is time to look at it again. To ask, is this still protecting me? Or am I so busy keeping the old promise that I have forgotten to make a new one? A better one. One that says, I will show up. I will be real. I will let people know me. Not perfectly, just enough. Enough to not be alone inside my own life. Enough to let someone in. That is all. Just enough. The end.